Your new life is entirely in my hands.
Video games originated within space and soon thereafter horror. Our latest combination of these two sources forms our petrifying preview of what could be a killer app. The gestation period of games seems to increase generation on generation, with recent events only making that worse, which makes the Callisto protocol something of a reverse curve. Not only in development for just 3 years, built by a newly established team in striking distance which grew from approximately 50 to just over 200 in that time, all whilst working remotely, to say this is a monumental achievement would be understating it a little. The ubiquitous use of Unreal Engine 4 is one key aid to that rapid roadmap, which has enabled the team to get stuck into the heart of the game's focus and not just on its inner workings. Now, this is not to say they have not tailored the engine to best suit their needs. Led by a collection of veterans, with rendering lead Jorge Jimenez being pivotal in that, you may recall him from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which blurred the lines, quite literally, between cinema and real-time gaming back in 2014. Running at 60 FPS even on the base Xbox One, a useful experience here with this cross-generation title launching on that same 9-year-old console right up to the Series X and PlayStation 5. The big technological leaps though will be true, at its core at least, on last and current generation, but now generation plus high-end PC is where it will raise the bar further. And that can only mean one thing: ray tracing. Now, from the gameplay shown here, we can clearly see the team have come out swinging at the top. Shots such as here with frustum culling and occlusion artifacts show signs that SSR, or screen space reflections, are used for reflections, a solid Unreal Engine 4 effect, leaving ray tracing, I believe at least, to form the lighting pass for the title. A wise choice in a horror game like this, where the use of light and dark can deliver tension, fear, urgency, along with guiding and aiding your progress. The only question though is, where are they leading us? On a purely technical and artistic level, the big tentpole leaps here are abundant. Model quality and specifically the construction, geometric density of faces, how nuanced movement is, from high bone rig models to skeletal systems on walking, running, hitting and of course dying. Physics is fully integrated into this, with Jacob's walk, climb and melee all carrying momentum. Enemies are knocked back dynamically and even break apart within hit zones, likely due to each character being constructed of interlocked meshes, enabling this procedural gore system to work. Now, this has great potential to enhance combat and gameplay in enjoyment, impact and tactics. Ammo is likely going to be short, so make each shot count. Keeping with the animation, the obvious balance of realism versus fun is clear. You can see how quickly Jacob flicks from an ADS shot, a dodge button evade, a strike and then back to shooting again. It all looks fluid and dynamic, but clearly cuts frames short to enable this fast reaction time. I hope this carries over to cutting short other actions, such as a stomp being quickly swapped to a dodge as something reaches out of the darkness for you. A key reason the game looks so close to a movie is the accomplished and clearly expensive, from a rendering time point of view, post effects being used. These photorealistic models, which are so good at first I thought we had real video mixed into gameplay at first glance. Now, much of this is the brilliant subsurface scattering on skin, giving soft, pinky and fleshy tones, to high resolve depth of field, emphasising the detail of eyes, hair with a subtle and gradual gradient drop off, emulating a 35mm camera perfectly. This, along with that per object motion blur, dynamic per pixel lighting and soft penumbra shadows and self occlusion, all enhance the high quality assets that are film level at this point. This is all wrapped up with that beautiful specular highlights on sweat and water on faces with that Fresnel lighting, giving everything a perfect movie like look. Now, this has Jorge's MO all over it, continuing his excellent work from Sledgehammer Games. The similar but significantly improved techniques here show no obvious artifacts we're so used to seeing. No banding and ghosting of blur as limbs move, no flicker or sharp edges of depth of field around characters. The silhouette masking and occlusion passes here are almost certainly using very expensive stochastic sample kernels. And I expect all of these effects, both in quality and quantity, to be the biggest sacrifices in the last generation versions. Recall that many of these effects were not running in open gameplay in Advanced Warfare, being retained mostly for cinematic sequences. It can never be overstated just how vital a top-tier, high-quality post-effect suite is to a game or movie's visual impact and identity. And the Callisto protocol here is at god-tier levels. Now, this kind of quality and knowledge is due to the industry veterans that formed and lead the studio's direction. I had the pleasure to speak to one of those in Mark James. As the Chief Technical Officer of Striking Distance Studios, he was intrinsic in the studio's techniques, technology, and its incredible results. Having worked with the likes of LucasArts, 2K, amongst others, he has the experience to drive the studio on its game engine and technological direction. One of the early choices was that of using Unreal Engine 4 and the customization and tailoring the team went through to ensure it delivered on their aims. This was pivotal in the short 3-year life cycle the game achieved, as Mark explains. He went on to explain some key areas the team focused on for improvements, and even pulling in UE5 elements, such as Unreal Engine's simple demolition system and the customization they did for the Callisto protocol. We discussed the ray tracing used, the use of UE5 elements, cross-generation challenges, and much more, which you can read the full interview with Mark over on the IGN site, and it hopefully gives you a glimpse into just how an engine in and of itself is merely a means to an end. And the real heart of any game is the team, the passion, the skill, blood, sweat and tears that go into making that. Something which the Callisto protocol certainly does not shy away from. Soundscape and mixing are practically 50% of the entire puzzle, and it is here that I have to mention the elephant in the room. Due to the creative lead being none other than industry veteran Glenn Schofield, this does have a Dead Space spirit, which should not be a shock, but it also shares its heart and passion. Sound can be a key tool in a developer or director's toolbox, enabling anxiety or trepidation if you hear something ahead, or urgency if it's coming from behind. To disgust a soft, squelchy, wet gore as you strike an enemy's head or have your own torn off. The mixture of ambient metallic sounds or electronic blends with the organic sounds of scream, torn flesh or gunshots, mixed with flashing lights and gun muzzle flashes, all invoke the intended atmosphere as you turn on machines or enter a new area. Sound becomes a key character as you use it to see beyond the light or run like hell from it. The trademark diving mask breathing, the squelch of gore or a meaty foot stomp really drives home the effort, angst and horror that awaits us. Inspiration is always a delicate balance between cultivating and copying, but here the team pay respects to the previous title. If not, lay it to rest. The Foley mix and soundscape is a key tool alongside the physicality of the game's UI. Ammo is all on the gun, health on your neck, added to by your breathing, the levels and tired animation cycle all giving you physical tells of where you are. Flashing red lights and sirens warn of danger, soft yellow lights in an open doorway, a possible sanctuary. All reminiscent of Dead Space for sure, but no less impressive and much more important and nuanced than a swamped UI and menu system, following the motto simplify to intensify. And it does wonders. They say lightning never strikes twice, but Striking Distance are doing everything they can to prove those naysayers wrong. The team may be new, but led by veterans and a passionate and skilled ensemble. I think come December, we may yet see lightning strike twice.
So whatever you're holding on to right there, that's your old life. You gotta let that go.
And that will just about do it for another deep dive into game technology, previews, and all things video game related. Now, if you are interested in learning more about the Callisto protocol, the wonders the team are delivering, and just how they're doing it from the technology perspective, you can check out the full interview with Mark James over on the IGN website. But for now, I'm out. But don't worry, keep it IGN for more performance previews and reviews, just like this one.